Welcome to 2-Bit Gaming. Today's topic, video game music. Back in the early days of gaming, music was limited to mostly annoying beeps, and used sparingly. The 8-bit era was much kinder to music. Thanks to better cartridge and sound chip technology, music could now be generated that was actually pleasing to the ear. Nearly every genre of music could be adapted into game tunes, but there was still a limit to the complexity of the arrangement. Simple yet catchy tunes like those from Super Mario Bros. And The Legend of Zelda solidified music as a prerequisite for all games. The 16-bit generation really validated in-game music, thanks to the specialized Sony sound chip of the Super Nintendo and the disc format of the Sega CD. On the Super Nintendo, Final Fantasy III had such a beautifully arranged and sequenced soundtrack that it's still regarded as one of the best musical scores in gaming. On Sega's side, Working Designs released a number of games on the Sega CD with fantastic soundtracks, such as Lunar and Popful Mail. The Lunar series is now synonymous with music, to the extent that the developer reappropriated the ending theme from Popful Mail as the boat song for the re-release of Lunar, Silver Star Story Complete for the PlayStation. Music in games had become an industry unto itself, with soundtrack sales at record stores and professional composers working full-time at game studios. With the advent of the 32-bit generation, Redbook Audio was now in its prime, thanks to the CD storage format of the PlayStation and Sega Saturn, and a few other less well-received machines. Music-based games like Dance Dance Revolution on the PlayStation are famous for high-quality pop music. Alternatively, the Sega Saturn soundtrack for Panzer Dragoon Saga is a personal favorite of mine. The quality one expects from a blockbuster movie soundtrack could now be applied to video games. However, onboard sequencers were still used, and extremely well. On the PlayStation, games like Final Fantasy VII and Metal Gear Solid used mostly hardware-generated music, but it was so good you could hardly tell, and it certainly didn't hinder the emotional effect. In Metal Gear Solid, the music was produced in hardware, so the CD-ROM could be used to store the game's fully voiced dialogue, and one of the most haunting and memorable ending themes in gaming. Meanwhile, on the Nintendo 64, Redbook Audio was impossible. But thanks to ingenious compression techniques, MP3-style sound could be achieved. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Star Wars Rogue Squadron, and Banjo-Kazooie are all prime examples of the N64's sound capabilities. The PlayStation 2 and Xbox's DVD format was the largest yet used in gaming. Also notable were the Dreamcast's Gigabyte discs and the GameCube format. Final Fantasy X and XII, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, Shenmue 1 and 2, Guitar Hero, Rez, the list goes on and on with extremely high-quality music. Sometimes I think I like the Halo franchise so much because of its brilliant musical score. The current console generation has seen the release of yet another larger format, with the PlayStation 3's Blu-ray disc. While Sony's competition still uses the DVD format, the PlayStation 3 release of Metal Gear Solid 4 is rumored to have so much uncompressed audio that as it is, it could not fit on a single DVD. If anything, this generation has shown us that in-game music has yet to peak, and we may see even more creative uses of music in games in the future. I'm currently addicted to playing AudioSurf for the PC. It builds levels based on the songs you give it. Any song, MP3, CD, or whatever. It's really fun to play, and since you pick the music, it has the best music! It's only $10 on Steam, so you really can't go wrong. Now it's time for Kane's 2 Bits! 1. Video game soundtracks have come a long way. I encourage you to listen carefully and critically to the next game you play. I'm sure you'll find at least one game with music so good you'll want to own the soundtrack. I own several, with Shenmue's orchestra version being my most listened to right now. 2. Music isn't just an important part of video games, it's as important as all other aspects of video game development. From graphics to gameplay, music binds it all together. Well, so long as it fits the game and doesn't annoy the crap out of you. That's my 2 bits. If you have any video game music recommendations, please leave a comment or video response. As always, I'm your humble 2-bit gamer. Thanks for watching.